So today we're going to jump right in the water, that high quality H2O, how it applies to building muscle, how it applies to losing fat, the needs, the functions, when to get it in, how to get it in, everything to do with this, often talked about but still somehow overlooked. All that good jazz. Let's lock in. Water comprises of about 65% of your body. It operates in many bodily functions, even brain activity. If you're dehydrated even 2%, your energy goes down, you're tired, you're unable to perform at the highest of your ability, even your cognitive function declines. Water is also important for regulating temperature, of course, because it helps you sweat, and sweating cools you off. If you can't sweat, you can't cool off, your body temperature is too high, and you can't perform at the best of your ability. So you might be thinking, I don't even sweat, I don't work out, I don't do any of that, so water doesn't matter to me. You would be wrong, because you lose water through digestion, you lose water through breathing, you lose water every time you take a trip to the latrine. You got to get your water in, because if you are off balance and you're dehydrated, you haven't absorbed enough water for you to perform your bodily functions optimally. So even if you're just sitting on the couch, you're not sitting on the couch as well as you would if you were hydrated. So one of the ways water is going to benefit you building muscle and losing fat is enhancing protein synthesis. Now, it depends on if you want to be a glass half full or a glass half empty person on if it's improving or preventing the degradation. Either way, if you're hydrated, your protein synthesis is better. You can line up those amino acids and more easily synthesize the protein so you can create muscle cells. And if you're dehydrated, you won't do it as well. And this is especially important for veteran lifters, because we can't leave any stone unturned. We've been at it so long, and we want to keep building muscle. So the further you go along, the more you got to crack down. Another benefit of being hydrated is the ability to flex, the ability to contract your muscles. And that is directly applicable to you lifting weights, to you tearing that muscle tissue so it can grow back stronger than before. If you can't do that, that even dabbles into the whole cramping debacle. So if your muscles aren't hydrated, you have an electrolyte imbalance, then you're going to start cramping up, and then your workouts suffer. Again, you can't flex the way you want to, which is important to create that muscle separation. You can really isolate a muscle group. And if you sitting there cramping, or you can't even contract the whole way because you're dehydrated, you're shooting yourself in the foot. Another benefit of drinking water is it transports oxygen and nutrients and gets them to your muscles. It'll help you work out longer. It'll help you work out better. Another benefit of being hydrated is it'll improve your strength, or at worst, it'll prevent you from decreasing your strength from being dehydrated. Another benefit of drinking water is it burns calories. Cold water to even higher degree. Now, I'm a room temperature guy myself. That cold water makes my teeth hurt, but drinking water will help you burn more calories. So if you want a little simple way to boost your metabolism to an extent, get your water in. Not drinking enough water even affects the kidneys. And even more so in that, it affects the liver. And even more so in that, it affects your ability to lose fat. Because if you're dehydrated, your kidneys can't function at its highest ability. Which means that your kidneys are like, hey, yo, liver, I need a little assistance here. I can't do all this filtering. So then the liver comes in, and the liver has many functions, but one of its big functions is to metabolize fat. So the liver only has so many hands, so he has to slow down on the metabolizing fat and try to help you filter out all the waste and nonsense that you're trying to get out of your body that your kidney usually handles. So if you're not drinking enough water, you're not burning as much fat as you should. So this may sound counterproductive, but if you want to lose water weight, you want to rid yourself of the water retention, you gotta drink more water. So if you're dehydrated, your body tends to hold on to water because it wants to dilute the amount of sodium you're taking in and prevent electrolyte imbalance. Get more water in, your body will continue to flush it out and won't worry about its ability to dilute the sodium. Now, in another scenario, it could be just your sodium intake is so high that you need more water to flush it out, or you need to lower your sodium intake, or you can increase your potassium intake, because it's mostly about your potassium to sodium ratio, but everything's still centralized around water. So get your water in, you'll help reduce that water retention, which is often mistaken for body fat. And that could be what's giving you that puffy look. You see it sometimes in bodybuilders when they get ready for a competition. You're taking a creatine sup, your body produces it naturally as well. But if you want to get the most out of your creatine, you gotta stay hydrated, simply because creatine pulls water into the muscle, which helps you with your endurance when it comes to weightlifting, as well as your strength output. So being hydrated is important to get the most out of your supplement. Like, let's say if you're not getting enough water, creatine is still pulling the water you do get into your muscles, which will dehydrate you and affect everything else your body has to do. So if you're if you're taking creatine, you need even more water than if you weren't. Case by case. I know it's everybody's favorite answer, not specific at all, giving you no kind of information, but everybody has a different circumstance. For instance, where do you live? Is it hotter, colder, humid, dry? What's your normal body temperature? Do you tend to run hot? Are you a little cooler? Are you with child? What's your caffeine intake like? How often do you drink alcohol? Like, these are both diuretics, which means that they're going to force you to urinate more often, which means you're losing more fluid. You got to replenish that fluid. These are all things that you have to take into account, your activity level, your body composition, to decide how much water you should take. And then you can't give yourself a specific number. You have to figure it out. But a good starting point is, if you're just hopping off the couch, then half your body weight, pounds, in ounces of water. So if you weigh, let's say 200 pounds, you want to start out with 100 ounces per day and see how you go from there. But soon I'll give you more indicators on being able to judge if you're hydrated or not and what to do about that. Ooh, I can't not mention how a high protein diet impacts the amount of water you should take in, and the importance of hydration, because when you're on a high protein diet, you're leaving excess waste that your kidneys have to flush out. And again, your kidneys are suffering. That's a problem. That's even a health problem long term, but it's going to be a problem with getting rid of that metabolic waste, and can cause cell damage, which is going to limit your muscle growth. So another of the 3 macronutrients, carbohydrates, even has hydrate in the title. So you're eating carbs, turns to glycogen, right? You store glycogen in the liver. You also store glycogen in your muscles. Glycogen binds with water molecules. So you're going to absorb that water. It's going to stuff it in your muscles. It'll even give you a bigger appearance, makes your muscles look fuller. And it's going to be important for you for your resistance training. That glycogen is more readily converted into energy for weight training. So you want to get the most out of your carbs and not have your carbs dehydrate you. Gotta hydrate. So me personally, when it comes to how much water I get, I do 2.5 gallons a day. I'm a high temperature person. I work out frequently. I sweat a lot. I eat a high protein diet. I get my carbs in and moderate caffeine intake. So 2.5 gallons seems to do it for me. Anything less than I'm parched. I lose energy, feel sluggish, a little irritable. So I gotta make sure I stay hydrated. It's pretty easy for me to get dehydrated. I even have to drink water through the night. To get a good handle on if you're hydrated or not, you can use these indicators. You want to try to stay between the first and third. That'll put you in a pretty hydrated range. Your body will also let you know that you need to drink some water, but At this point, you're already dehydrated. And keep in mind, even a 2% dehydration will affect your cognitive function. It messes with your brain's ability to do what it does and make you tired, you're all lethargic, irritable, all this stuff. So stay hydrated. Try to stay between the first and third marker. Your urine being clear is okay, but you don't want it clear all the time, because that means that you are probably depleted in electrolytes and you're going to start cramping up and all that. So perfect balance is clear sometimes, not clear the whole day, but not too dark. Try to stay between the first and third marker and you'll be good money.
Thirst that can be mistaken for hunger, chills, clammy skin, elevated heart rate, headache, dizziness, shortness of breath, dry mouth, nausea.
Just break it up into chunks. For me, I do 8 40-ounce servings. I start the day with some water, and in between meals, I get my water in. Definitely pre-workout, during workout, post-workout, even get some in before bed. So if you break it into chunks, it's more easy to get it in, as opposed to carrying a whole gallon around. I used to do that, got a little clunky. And I ain't like the clumsy fashion, especially when I'll be in the gym and somehow the top of my gallon comes off and the water spills and become quite irritated. So it's a lot easier for me carrying this thing around and just getting those servings that way. So I suggest you do the same. Some people will get a gallon and they'll put markers in the time of a day. So you know that, all right, it's 4 o'clock, I should be down here. Oh, it's 5 o'clock, I should be down here. Oh, but I'm up here, let me chug and get there. Which that can work too. Just for me, I like the bottom. We'll get it in. When you wake up, you are almost certainly dehydrated. You're still going through your bodily functions, maybe at a smaller degree when you're snoozing, but still getting up, still filling the toilet, still breathing, still perspiring to an extent, and you're losing water. So you wake up dehydrated, you fasted. That's the first time you should get some hydration going. And then another important time is pre-workout. You want to get ready for what you're about to lose, as well as ensure that you're properly hydrated to do what you got to do. And then during the workout, you want to replace what you're losing. And then after the workout, you want to replace what you lost and what you continue to lose. Because your body still hasn't fully recovered. You haven't got back to your normal resting heart rate, things of that nature. Still got the EPOC going, which is the excess post-exercise oxygen consumption. So, like we said, when you're breathing, you're losing water. So you got that excess oxygen consumption. You're losing more water. So you want to get that water in and stay hydrated, so you don't have to go through all the side effects that come with not drinking the water. So I would be quite fraudulent if I didn't mention bathroom trips being one of the not so fancy side effects of upping your water intake. You are going to hit the urination station a little more frequently than you currently do, but it's worth it. Benefits are much higher. Another thing, pretty rare but possible, is water intoxication. As I mentioned when we showed the indicators, is that you want to stay between the first and third. You don't want your urine to be clear too often, because then you are flushing out electrolytes, losing minerals, which is another problem with drinking distilled water. You draw the minerals and stuff out of your muscles, but you don't want to do that. So if you notice that your urine is clear a little too often, then back off the water just a little bit and see how that goes. But if you're dehydrated, you want to up the water. So find your happy place. See how it goes in like 1 or 2 week intervals and make adjustments accordingly. So it's about that time. Hydration is important. Make sure you get that water in. It's for your performance. It's for building muscle. It's for cognitive function. It's for losing fat. It's for bodily functions. Get the water in. Often the solution to a great problem is simple. You just gotta do it. The implementation could be difficult, but we didn't ask if it's difficult. We asked if it's possible, so make it happen. I appreciate the listen. Hopefully I gave you some insight Want some more? You can go to my website, eugenethefit.com, see the daily tips. You can even use a search bar to type in a specific topic you want to dig into. Just type in the keyword. You see the ebooks, programs. I want to become a client. You can hit me on there. Follow me on all my socials at Eugene the Fit. Until next time, I bid you adieu. Put those muscles to use and be great.